Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The top rank promoter Bob Arum has confirmed they are investigating making Tyson Fury and Zhang Zhilei for July. And this was first reported by Ringside Reporter Live, Twitter handle Ringside73. So the quote basically is that they're trying to finalize the deal this weekend for the WBC heavyweight title fight in July. And there's a few interesting things about this. One, is this the fight we want or need, given there's the talk of a heavyweight tournament for later in the year, but also other things like Zhang Zhilei's not even in the WBC top 40. And if you don't believe me, go to the WBC website, hit ratings, hit heavyweight, and scan your way down. The WBC does not allow its champion to face someone who's not ranked in the top 15. So, I mean, that's not something that is insurmountable. Let's face it, if Tyson Fury wants to face Zhang Zhilei, who's currently the WBO interim title holder, it's probably going to all of a sudden parachute Zhang Zhilei into the rankings, and then he faces Tyson Fury for a full shot at the title. And what would happen then is the WBO interim title that Zhang holds would probably be vacated or dropped or whatever, because he would be going to another sanctioning body. But if we just take a step back, obviously there's been talk about what Tyson Fury is going to do. Was he just going to wait until the end of the year, participate in a heavyweight tournament that would involve Alexander Usyk, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua? There has been accusations that Tyson Fury is the holdup for that tournament to take place, that he hasn't signed on for anything, that there's been rumours of different purses, that Tyson Fury has the highest purse that's been offered, but Tyson Fury has not accepted at this point in time, leaving that so-called tournament that would be in Saudi Arabia up in the air. But even if that tournament was to go ahead, Tyson Fury looks like he wants to fight this year, mid-year, and get something in, which effectively would keep him ring sharp ahead of what would be potentially against Alexander Usyk at the end of the year, an undisputed showdown in Saudi Arabia. So the questions have been, well, what's going to happen if he fights? Who's he going to face? There's been the name of Andy Ruiz Jr. that's been thrown out there. Ruiz Jr. has basically said previously in the last week or two, it's going to happen. It's a lock. But we know that Andy Ruiz Jr. can be sort of prone to a bit of an exaggeration. He said immediately after the second Joshua fight that the third one would take place within the next year, and that was just sheer optimism. Andy Ruiz Jr., he's just a name that could be picked. And actually, Andy Ruiz Jr. is in the WBC's rankings. He's at number 2. So certainly in terms of merit and guys who've been working their way up a sanctioning body, Andy Ruiz Jr. has some form. Beat Luis Ortiz, and, you know, he's looking for a big fight. Obviously, that comes with it is a big payday. Ruiz Jr. wants that bag. He wants a shot at a heavyweight title. But now the name of Zhang Zhilei has come into view. And that is the name that Bob Arum has stated is the one that they're looking to make the fight with. And why would that be? Well, actually, it's effectively an in-house fight now. Because Zhang Zhilei, after he beat Joe Joyce, Frank Warren, with the deal that they'd made with Zhang and his team, had options on him. So has him for 2 fights. And the other sort of, thing that could be a slight wrinkle is, well, what about Joe Joyce? What if he does want that rematch with Zhang Zhilei? And it could be that given they've got 2 fights that they need to put Zhang into, maybe Zhang has a fight with Tyson Fury, and presumably, I think based on form, people would say Zhang, he's powerful, he's dangerous, but Tyson Fury, slick boxer, could outbox him, maintain his title, and then Zhang goes into a rematch with Joyce, which would be the second fight. And I guess the other thing that would make this potential for Zhang to come into the picture, be that opponent for July, is the dollar signs, because now that Zhang has firmly put himself onto the heavyweight landscape, he's been a guy who's been aging on the vine, not getting the biggest fights that he always wanted. It's been left relatively late in his career, Whether that's turning pro too late was a disadvantage, some early poor management, but he's had a good performance against Filip Hrgović, and then arguably should have won that fight, didn't get the decision, but then he stops Joe Joyce, who had been until that point, as his nickname suggested, a bit of a juggernaut, sort of laying waste to the guys that were put in front of him, stopped Carlos Takam. Bryant Jennings beat him, a whole bundle of other names. Berman Stavern knocked out Joseph Parker. It was all coming up Joe Joyce until Big Bang Zhang Zhilei got in there and stopped him. So this is the moment to make some money off Zhang. So Tyson Fury, being the number one heavyweight in the world, well, at least regarded by many, you could have him and Zhang in China make a boatload of money. Is the money that would be there for a potential Zhang fight, if you were to have it in China, bigger than something that Fury could get in Saudi Arabia at this point? I don't know. It's a question, but does it even matter? Because it's not meant to be at the same time. It's not necessarily competing against each other, but obviously there's a degree of risk there with Zhang Zhilei as well. So the argument could be, why would you take this if you've got maybe $90 million waiting at the end of the year for you to face Alexander Usyk? That's a number that's been reported. But certainly with Zhang, with the millions of Chinese, boxing fans and sporting fans having watched him stop a guy in Joe Joyce, his stock is at an all-time high. Maybe there is the potential to have him in a stadium in China against Tyson Fury, and that's going to draw massive interest because it would be for a heavyweight world title. Whereas at this point, what Zhang would be doing otherwise, it's either a rematch with Joe Joyce, or potentially he would be waiting for a shot against Alexander Usyk or whoever holds the belt at the time, and who knows when that could be. The WBO mandatory, which Zhang is now, that's not the next mandatory for Alexander Usyk or whoever holds that belt at the time. WBA is next, and then it would be IBF and then the WBO. So you've got a bit of a wait in tow anyway. But Zhang, he's been out there in public sort of just in this past week, and here's the video on screen talking about the heavyweight scene, that it's hard to get traction. He wants to face Fury, he wants big fights, he wants to face all these guys, but it is a situation with the heavyweight division that there is just not something that's just going to be easy, or things are going to get resolved quickly. But this news from Bob Arum, it certainly turns things on its head for Zhang, and he could be the guy that could benefit from that performance against Joe Joyce. And if Fury really wants that mid-year fight, wants to take that and then have a four-man tournament at the end of the year or whatever, Tyson Fury is highly motivated by money. And if this option for a Zhang fight, especially if it was in China, that could end up making a huge amount for him. And obviously, having a huge heavyweight fight in China would also be, from the historical standpoint, something that would be, always remembered as well. Big fight, lots of money, lots of interest, lots of people wanting to see the home favourite upset the apple cart against Fury, etc. It would be something in the heavyweight division that would leave a bit of a mark. So I guess we'll see where this goes. I mean, Andy Ruiz's name has been in the mix. Obviously, there's been some of the other usual suspects who've been calling Fury out. And I mean, Fury and Mahmoud Shah, their names have been sort of linked forever. I mean, who knows if Agit Kabial is still in the mix for a fight with Fury. At one point, a couple of years ago, they were looking to make that for an end-of-year fight for basically activity. Similar, to the way that Fury said, look, I need to stay busy, and he fought Derek Chisora when no one needed to see that. So if it's not Zhang, and if it's not Ruiz, it could be anyone. It could be someone we don't want to see, basically on the ruse of, well, I need activity to stay sharp before a big fight at the end of the year. We'll see where things go. But what do you make of it, the potential for this fight? Do you like it? Do you want to see it? What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.